George and Seb rolling down the road, RGT riding shotgun a heavy load, Pastor Longhorn waiting to unfold. In El Paso, Texas, tales been told. One arm big, a sight to see. Pastor preach.
Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 244. Mumsy would not believe it. With me, George, this week joined by Scotty, a.k.a. the Glorious Marathon Gaming, a.k.a. Scotty Undisputed, who's undisputed to my disputed. Sir, how's it going?
I am doing very, very well. A little bit cold this morning down in the basement. I think RGT's not just taken the bath salts, but seems to have took the heating with him as well, the gas bottles. I know we was running low on the old propane 20 kg cylinders, but it's absolutely freezing. I mean, George, I can see the breath coming out of your mouth, and I thought this was a warm climate where we are. But no, it's very, very cold.
You wait long enough in Texas, and even the snow will fall. That's all I'll say. One thing I want to dig into a little bit, if I may, is what's RGT doing with those propane bottles?
Well, I know he once was carried around in a wicker basket. Now, I think what they try to do, I don't know if you've seen, what's the Christmas film where the reindeer's not working? And because people, I think it's Elf, you know, like no one believes in Christmas spirit. Right, stick with me for this one. Don't lose me. I'll pull this back around. And they're trying to get, Christmas spirit to help the sleigh fly. So a bit like the wicker basket for RGT, what we've tried to do, because, it's hard, we're malnourished in this basement. If we've got to carry RGT around that wicker basket, I'm thinking we get 2 propane cylinder bottles, turn them horizontal and sort of make our own nitrous oxide injection for the wicker basket. And that way we can just carry them around effortlessly. That's what I was thinking. And I think that's what he's doing, because I think he took Seb off into the woods to collect some sticks. I'm assuming that's just a time together, almost like a raft made of propane.
Do you know, full power to him. I like how he's in the cult, but he's not in the cult. He needs to make his mind up, because he rang the cult hotline, then he scrabbled out underneath the fence, and I'll tell you what, that was a miracle. Now he's scrabbled back under the fence. He's dressed as
it's no. To be fair, Joe, it's not his fault. I left the door open the other day, didn't I? When I went in potatoes, and you know what it's like. The cat dragged something. I left the door open. I've turned round. Next thing you know, my footstool's gone. RGT's sitting there eating a bag of barbecue flavoured Whatsits. And that's what happens. You leave the door open. So, he's not necessarily in the cult, but he's a visitor.
If you're listening for the first time, you're thinking, what are these guys talking about? Well, yes, you're right. You don't adjust your dial. We are a gaming podcast, but through fair or foul reason, we've ended up joining a cult. Now, I'm fully in it. I enjoy my time here sometimes. Scotty's a late joiner, but he got the £4,000 a month failed podcaster deal. I think it was a bit harsh you put yourself in that category, but it was a great way of getting a deal. I like what you're doing. Seb was the one who brought us down to El Paso in the first place, because we sent the world's smallest bounty hunter to find him. We busted him out, and then we busted him back in again, because we wanted to be part of the Great Ascension, which at Christmas is taking the flight to the stars. So we can't wait to take you on a journey with there. So we've not gone crazy. Don't worry. And if you don't believe us, you can even check us on YouTube now and have a look. We are in a cult. Okay? The video quality shows that we're in a cult. It's not just that we're a 2-bit third-rate show that does things on a micro budget. You might assume that, but that is not true. So with all that said and done, gaming credentials put out there, I've been listening to some old shows, mainly because Community Corrections has diverted my eye to the fact that even in 2019 we were making mistakes live on air. But it reminded me that, I say, what you've been playing? That's actually an evolution of, I used to say, the show can't begin until I put the key in the lock, turn it, and ask you what you're hoping to play. So in a throwback to years gone by, Scotty.
Oh, that has wobbled me. Are you going to ask me what I hope to play?
No, I've not. I've got it wrong. So after 5 years, I still don't know the intro to our own show, and I'm actually asking you what you've been playing. I literally threw myself under my own bus wheels and drove over my wretched body verbally. What games have you been getting your beautiful looking teeth into over the past week?
I have been playing lots of fun little games, some weird and wonderful ones. And one I've played a lot of, and I'm kind of at the back end of it, but I have been on the show last couple of weeks, so it's still right and fit and good time to talk about it. Undisputed. Now, I need to talk to my good boy Triple S about this because he's a big Undisputed fan and boxing fan, and we got our teeth right sunk into this one. So I purchased it off the back of talking to Seb on the show. It arrived. I absolutely loved the career mode, full customization, making a character, and I've made so many characters, which we'll go on to a bit later on as well.
May I just interject very quickly and ask you what format are you playing this on?
I've gone PS5, but I've also got it for the Series X.
I don't know why I thought this because I know it not to be true, but I thought you were going to tell me you had it on. I thought you were going to tell me you had it on Switch.
It's not on the Switch. It will be on the Switch too, perhaps, in the future. Perhaps.
So tell me why you've double dipped on this elusive, slippery, greased-up boxer.
So basically, I have been telling everybody and their cat's mother about how good this game is. And honestly, for marathon gaming, it's Game of the Year 2024. I don't care. It's my Game of the Year, and I'm
Welcome
sticking by it.
Welcome to the Ponces. I can't wait to see you fight for this. It is.
I will fight everyone back against the ropes, honestly. It'll be brilliant, but honestly, I love it so much. And I've been telling everyone at work about how good the game is to a point where everyone's brought it at work. And there was one guy in particular who was leaving work the end of the week. And, we had a few things arranged for him. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy the game for him because I said, what console he got it on? He goes, he wants to get it when he gets paid. So I thought I'd buy it for him. I brought it in the next day and he downloaded it. He was too impatient. So he actually already had it.
Oh, no.
So I might end up featuring that in a giveaway video at some point. But I'm so obsessed with the game, which I might end up playing it on there as well. So I've done a full heavyweight career. I've done welterweight career. I've not retired the boxers. They're well into the 30s. I've got all 4 titles, undisputed. I've defended them. I'm now doing a featherweight career. And I've gone to the point of, you try and make it look yourself, your alter ego, what you wish you looked like, or if you was a boxer. I've now done so much of that. I've got to a point where I'm just I'll show you, it's hilarious. I've maximized the features or minimized the features. So, when we used to talk about in the old series of how you see the ray? Every time my character walks to the ring, it is how you see the ray. He'll be 30 foot tall, one long arm, or he'd be really skinny. He'd have his jaw be out here. His eyes would be deep. Like every feature has been maximised or minimised, and it is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I love the game so much. I'm not a trophy hunter. I don't think I could count on one hand how many games I've completed in the past year. Right. But I'm thinking about even going for the platinum because I've got some rare trophies. So I got a trophy the other day, and it was called the greatest. It's 51-0 undefeated, and I had one career mode where I hadn't been knocked out and I hadn't lost on points, and I was like 47 fights. I thought if I'm careful and fight on the outside, I could do this. And I got closer and closer, 49, 50-0. And then, I finally did it. I was buzzing. I looked, and only 2% of players in the world have that trophy. So I looked at not one person's platinum that game yet. And there's some hard things, like throw 10,000 straights or uppercuts. And I looked, I'm a fair way through it. So get the most out of the game, because I've heard Seb talk on the last show, say it was a bit lackluster with features, and online play is a bit sketchy. That's why people have been disappointed and not got as good reviews as possible. It is a little bit. It's like playing on a Switch when you go online. You'll be getting hit with a punch that's not been thrown. So to get the most legs out of the game, I think I might even go down that route. But yeah, absolutely loving the game. So Undisputed, I've played it so much, and I know we talked a little bit pre-show, and you mentioned it earlier. But Longhorn is holding a ceremony when he comes back from his. I know he was doing some stuff for the election campaign. I'm not sure, we might cover that later. But when he returns from that, hopefully, he did say he was going to put a party on, and he was going to knight me officially for the podcast as Undisputed Scott. That's not my words. That's his.
Wow. Well,
But
he bought, as signing up to the cult, you do actually end up owning everything that person owns. So the show is his. So if he said he's going to make you undisputed Scott, I believe it. As for where he's at right now, I mean, once again, we're able to be a little bit relaxed and not wear the official cult robes because he's away. Now, last week he was on the campaign trail. Now he's on the party trail because him and the big Donald T, they are living it up like two gangsters. I heard they've been at Mar-a-Lago playing golf this morning. Pastor uses a set of antique medieval clubs whittled out of a deer's horn. It's very nice. Trump thinks he's great. Best golf set I've ever seen. Beautiful set. Pastor's a great guy. That sort of thing. He thinks...
Not bad, George. That's good.
Thanks, mate. He thinks a lot of Pastor. I think a lot of Pastor's ideas are what have got him to the point where he's at now. So they're doing that whole Make America Great thing. So we're allowed to be a little bit more relaxed on the show. I'm looking forward to the knighting ceremony, I have to admit.
I've actually just got a Snapchat from Pastor, and he's in a jacuzzi with Trump right now, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. RGT's in there as well. I knew he was up there.
Well, for the last couple of weeks, RGT has been the official budgie smuggler carrier for Big Donald T, the POTUS elect, as he is as we speak. So, yeah, RGT's been carrying around. Now,
he must have used that rocket-propelled wicker basket. It must have got it working, and that's how he got there so quick.
I think he's now cannibalised that into the ultimate drying rack, and he's able to take Donald T's trunks from dripping wet to bone dry in less than 30 seconds.
Or he's just the caddy at the golf course for both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what else I've been playing, because this is a good one, actually, because this is actually RGT inspired, because I'm sure he's played this, and he's mentioned it many a time. I've been really enjoying Until Dawn. It's on the PlayStation Plus.
Great game.
Now, I only became aware recently... Sorry, George, go on.
I'm intrigued. Which version are you playing? The PS5 or the newly released... Or no, are you playing the PS4 or the newly released PS5 version?
The latter. Yeah, the latter on the PS5, PlayStation Plus. So they're both on there. Now, I didn't realise it was a series. I've got The Quarry, but I believe the developers have made a series of games which are not quite FMV, but a little bit more action-based FMVs, if you like.
They're very similar in... They're very, very similar makeup to Until Dawn. It's the Man of Medan series. I can't remember what the proper name is. I think it's called the Dark Anthology. And then they had a game, you quite rightly point out, it's called The Quarry, that was developed for Google Stadia. Obviously, when that flopped, they brought it to all formats. They're not linked, but they are overarching similar. Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed that. Now, it's only a short game, 8 hours to complete. I think I'm 6 hours I looked. And the reason why I did look is it's been really interesting. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically like you're in a movie. There's some slasher references, sort of teen sexual references, all that stuff like in a normal horror film, like you're watching Scream or something, Lots of false jump scares, a lot of fun. Don't take itself too seriously, but there is a good story there. There's lots of twists. It's like you're in a nice sort of horror thriller slasher. It's not scary in a point of cinematic horror thrill, but it's scary in a point of jump scares and silly horror. Now I'm at a point, reason why I looked is because once you realise, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, once you realise who the killer is or what the killer is or what the killer isn't, or who's out there or who isn't out there, I kind of, unless there's another twist, I doubt there is. I've got 2 hours of, I know what's sort of going to happen. And I'm kind of done with it. So I was playing about half an hour of it each night, really enjoying it, just like a little after dinner game.
I think you might need to see that through.
Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. Because I've had a few twists and I'm thinking there can't be any more twists. But your facial expression is suggesting there may be one further twist to the plot.
I can't quite remember without saying anything too vocal online about the plot.
Okay.
But, I do remember stumbling across some revelations in the end game.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Much like I think you have, and thinking, is this it? And then actually by the time it played out, business has picked up a little bit and it was like, oh, yeah. I would say that Until Dawn in my humble opinion, for what it's worth, is the best game that they have made. I think The Quarry probably ran a close second. I didn't really gel with Man of Medan, but I think Until Dawn is like the perfect summarization of the product. I think that's the best one for you to have tried. I was intrigued to see, but you won't be able to answer this, what the comparisons were between the 4 and the 5. It's getting on to be quite an old game now. So to see what they'd lifted, I mean, I've been impressed with some of the visuals, but don't get me wrong, the PS4 version still looks serviceable. So it was interesting to see they'd re-released it on PS5, but I know that they're trying to get a lot of their legacy games on PS5 because it's going to be the foundation which to build their other systems on. PSX. That's a special edition you never thought you were going to get. PS6 is obviously going to be built on the foundations of PS5.
Too late. I've put my deposit on the PS6. I'm sorry. I want that.
To be honest, I'm that aroused. Can you see if you can get me one as well? Because whatever that is, I want it. Anyway, so you're enjoying that? Impressed?
Yeah.
Reasonably?
Yeah, reasonably. And you've motivated me to keep on going because we'll get on to a bit later on
I think
what I hope to play in the...
I think one thing to remember with that game, when you finish in the credits, you're watching the credits, there are interstitial bits in there that are really based on the decisions you made, which kind of illustrated the butterfly effect as you played it.
Sure.
It's one of these games that if you play it through the second time, you kind of know where everything's going and you're trying your best to bring home the 100% outcome. But no matter what you do, it's that hard to hold the pieces together.
Yeah, I know there's alternate endings. So for anyone who's listening and thinks this sounds interesting but not quite sure, pop up on YouTube, watch a little trailer of it. So as George just said, the butterfly effect. So when you make your decisions during the game, there's sort of a little butterfly symbol in the top left corner, and that sort of that basically says to you that the decision you've made will have an outlasting outcome at some point in the game because that decision you made. So there are alternate endings and it progresses.
And that butterfly, when that butterfly pops up, it's almost a bit of a kick in the nuts, really, because it's like
you've made a mistake.
Almost. It's almost saying that could have gone two ways. And it's like,
have you made the right choice?
Have you made the right decision? Yeah, and you don't know because it could lead you down a rabbit hole.
I've killed the wrong person by pressing square instead of X. So I'm way past that.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what did you make of because I think you've probably surpassed this part now. There's a bit where you've got two people tied down in a chair and some blades coming towards their necks. And obviously that's an interesting moment because when you learn some things later on, you think to yourself,
I've got to that. Yeah.
How was that going to work out?
Yeah, but then it shows you how, and it's very impressive. It is like RGT said it perfectly. When I told him I was playing it, he messaged me and he said, "You'll enjoy that. It's like you're in a movie," and that is all you need to slap on a box. It is like you're in a movie. It's that good.
Yeah, it's well executed. It's done in a good way.
It's brilliant. Graphically, phenomenal. It is. It looks similar to. I mean, my eyesight might be bad, but it was looking better than my own real life around in the actual basement here in El Paso. Like it looked. I know the lighting's not bad. It does, but yeah, graphically it's better than real life. I thought.
Yeah, I haven't really had much looks at the PS5 version because I had a lot of fun with it on the PS4, and it's probably a bit too early for me to revisit it. But I think from the shots I've seen, it stands up really well. One would argue, I think, if you saw some footage of the PS4 version, did it need an upgrade?
Well, everyone's saying that, but the fact that they've done an upgrade is almost like a compliment of them patting themselves on the back and saying this was only on the last console, but look what it can do now. So
I think you're right. What else have you been playing?
I have been playing a bit of Nintendo Switch, so we are now on a route to Christmas, Pastor's favourite holiday. However, the previous holiday we had was Halloween. Now, Retro Realms Arcade brought out a double pack physical game. If you're a Nintendo Switch collector, try and cop this because it is awesome. It is an Evil Dead and a Halloween, 2 games in one bundle. However, you can cross over the IPs, so you can be Laurie, you can be Michael Myers, you can cross over into Evil Dead, you can be Ash, you can cross over into Halloween World. It's a platform slasher, like a run and gun slasher, but really good levels. I actually like being the Halloween characters and playing in the Evil Dead verse because I quite like seeing the zombies in that universe rather than actual humans in Halloween. But yeah, it's very, very good. It's a real homage to a retro arcade games, so it's very difficult. You know, a bit like Ghosts and Ghouls or Goblins. So it's designed to be difficult, but they give you a chance. So it's got roguelite. It's not a roguelite by any means, but it's took some attributes from that into a way that when you finish each level, depending on how well you've done and scores you've obtained, you get a currency and there's a shop before you go into the next level. So if you've done enough, you can use your currency, in-game currency, to buy better movesets or increase your health or increase your stamina. So it gives you a better chance of progressing. So if you get stuck, like on a boss, like I am currently, I'm stuck on level 2 on both of them. You can replay the level, try and do better, and then use that money and then unlock stuff. So there's some replayability in that respect. There's also online server boards for high score boards, which is really cool. It's like a proper arcade high score game. What else? The music's fantastic. It's a really, really good game. I honestly couldn't. I can't find fault in it. It's a really, really great game, and it literally dropped about 3 days from pre-order, like 3 days for Halloween. It was posted. It was brilliant, and I had great fun with that. And it's really, really good. So if anyone's looking for a little horror retro-inspired platformer, that is definitely one for the collectors. It's a great game.
Wow. Okay. Maybe even Sir Bobby will dust off his Switch.
He's probably played it in Steam already in 1987 somehow.
Yeah, maybe he has.
He's the indie king.
Looking to align the schedules, obviously Bobby didn't want to join the cult and he stayed on the outside and tried to raise funds to free us and end the cult in El Paso. I'm expecting him to call in on the phone line at any moment. And then obviously if he gets us out the cult, then no doubt business as normal. Business as usual, as they say in the trade.
Yeah.
What other games have been on the rota this week?
One more for this week, and that is purely because my Sega Game Gears are under repair. So they've been sent over to Wales in the United Kingdom, and I've got a friend over there who's repairing them. We'll give him a shout out because he's got a good little business over there, Retro Saviour. Nice. He's on eBay and stuff like that on YouTube. So he is fixing for me a Game Gear, and then he's upgrading another one for me. So, you know, he does things.
So what, you keeping one factory stock, and then you're going to turn one into the ultimate Game Gear?
So I had a factory stock and then I had a screen modded one. The screen modded one just stopped working one night. So basically, when is why I said this is what I would be playing. When you get into bed, wind down, I sometimes will play a handheld for about 10 minutes. That's not, what Pastor calls the short end of the stick. But yeah, I actually play on a handheld and when it's not a Switch, it's in bed for 10 minutes. A bit of Road Rash on a Game Gear, a bit of Sonic, something like that and easy. But yeah, just all of a sudden didn't turn on. So I thought I'll send that to him to have a look at it. And in the meantime, I was playing on like a factory stock one. However, because I'm so used to playing on the upgraded screen, I was like, hold on. I said, look, while you're fixing that, stick a screen on this. And then we got carried away and I was like, put a battery mod on it. Put this on it. Have a look if you can do a HDMI output on it. So so we'll see what it comes back with.
Frankengear.
But reason why I mention that is because he's had those. I've been a bit lost without it. So I've been thinking, what can I play? So I've just started behind me because behind me in the corner there is in this basement is a Game Boy Color on a shelf. High up, and it's more for display next to some Pokemon OG games. But I've got a modded screen Game Boy Color Lite, so it's like a clear shell, absolutely beautiful piece of equipment, transparent shell. And I've been playing Pokemon Yellow, and ironically, I've heard Triple S did actually mention, I think on the previous show, saying they're the same. Other than the starter Pokemon, it's like a reskinned same game.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it through the lens of personas, weren't we? Yeah,
but I'm absolutely loving it. I felt about to delete the save that was already on there. There was 24 hours. The guy had 6 Pokemon badges, but I've just been playing 10 minutes each night. Absolutely savage. I couldn't wait. I was like, whoa, delete that. But so I started a new save, and every 10 minutes in bed, just before a bit of shut eye, I've put in my head on I suppose the business end of Pasta's sleeping bag. Then before I go to sleep and kiss his feet,
because I am new head boy. Everybody knows. I've been playing that. Really enjoying it.
It's obvious, mate. It's obvious that you're head boy. My job list has gone south, literally, very quickly, and I see you're getting all the cool jobs.
Yeah, he did. There has been some cool jobs. He's still, making me empty the pickle jars and stuff like that. And obviously that marmalade jar in the corner, I don't really know what's happened to that. But there are some better jobs. Yeah, some yard work's nice. A bit of vitamin D. It's nice to get outside. It's nice to get some
pasta
sunlight.
normally gives me pasta. Don't let me outside, but he does give me. He turns the lights off in the cellar where we are, and he gives me the vitamin D injection that way. I have to say, it's not quite delivered the way I expected it to be, but it's probably more suppository by the time it's finished. But yeah, I mean that's the perk of being not the favoured pastor's son anymore, I suppose.
Yeah. But taking deliveries in's been good, because the outhouse is cool to see what comes in. I didn't realise you could order 1,500 bottles of baby oil, but apparently that's what he's ordered. But
got a good
so
deal.
I put them in the
Apparently
back of storage. Yeah,
got
wholesalers.
Yeah, with an excessive amount of baby oil that they needed.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was some at auction. Apparently, I don't know. Apparently high profile, but I've not heard anything in the news.
Yeah, pastor's involved. He's pulling legal rulings left, right, and Chelsea. I think this might unfold into a bigger story, but who knows? We don't know anymore.
No, I've not heard a dicky bird about that one.
Do you want to know? You probably don't. I don't even think the people listening do either. May I?
Try me.
May I tell you what I've been playing?
Do you know what? I was hoping you was going to say what else. Can you just say, Scott? What else have you been playing? Because.
I thought that was it. Okay.
No, it is it. But I wanted to say, well, that's all I've been playing.
Well, hang on
George.
a minute.
Hey, George.
Scotty.
Hey, George.
What? No, wait, no. Let's do this the way you wanted it to do.
Thank you.
You're the head boy now.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Ready, George?
What else have you been playing, Scotty?
Do you know what? That's all I've been playing. But George, what have you been playing? I turned into a 1920s Pluto cartoon character dog then. I don't know where that came from.
That was Worcester.
That was 3 years of excitement of listening to you guys say it for all this time and finally thinking I can get one in there. Thanks for letting me live my dream.
You are my dream. What have I been playing? I don't even know now. Yes. In preparation for the new Farming Simulator, I've dusted off Farming Simulator 22 and I've just been cutting some grass. I just want to be a grass man. So I've got an English map downloaded. And
Did you skip 23 then? So I know you mentioned it in the last show.
23 is the mobile okay.
I was wondering why you picked that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, so 22 is the console-based one. There's 23, which I think also they port the mobile version to Switch. So they have the odd years, and we now have maybe the even years, if it's going to be 24 or 25. I don't know which one's coming out next month, or this month even now. But yeah, so I'm getting ready for that. I've been doing lots of YouTubing and seeing that you can have you can graze your animals anywhere. I don't think people really want to hear this. So I've been playing a little bit of that, but predominantly what I've been playing and really enjoying is Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster on the PS5. Now, I have an official apology to give. Last week ripped into Rost, your adopted father's face in the early cutscenes. And now I see what they're trying to do. I don't think they should have bothered, but to give Nix's and Gorilla their due, they had de-aged Rost for that first cutscene. So when you are with him as an adult, he looks older, because in the original, he had the same face, separated by 10 years. It was never an issue to me, but they've actually gone in and tried to retrospectively fix said issue by making him look younger when you're a baby and then older when you're a grown woman, so to speak. So that's the only gripe I had last week. Now I have no gripes. The thing is beautiful. It's way more populated. It feels like Horizon Zero West and Dawn now fit together like a jigsaw piece. I'm finding the NPC interactions far more rewarding, and NPC interactions that I kind of maybe glossed over in memory before because of the way the PS4 and Gorilla handled the side quests historically made them feel a bit cheap and broken. Now they feel like they're literally stitched into the fabric of the main story. In fact, it's hard to tell what's a side quest and what's a main story off the back of the interaction with the characters.
That's cool, though, isn't it? I'd say that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly like the original Zero Dawn took a little bit of a kicking for the NPCs and the side quest. They fixed that for Zero West and washed that back into the remaster, which I have to say has been flawless in its execution. Yes, the Zero West world has benefited from all the things learnt by gaming technology and level developing from when it launched to now. And that admittedly has left Zero Dawn kind of a 2016 game, whenever it came. I think it's 2016. Community corrections, right? I'm having a moment. That it does feel like a game of that era, but looks like a game of today. And if you wash some of those back through, it's totally forgivable. Anyway, either which way, I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and it's been a rewarding play. You know, I've picked it up on the Portal and playing it on the big screen at home. In the pastor's rec room when we get chance to book ourselves PS5 time. But normally down here in the basement playing it on the Portal that I smuggled in and actually evaded a strip search with. So that just gives you an idea of where that rather large handheld was. It was in my backpack that I hid behind some tumbleweed. Not what you were thinking, Scott.
No, I've just realised I've done you dirty here because you'd be very pleased to hear this. I don't think you're aware of this. I talked about Undisputed earlier. I've been playing a lot of it on the PlayStation Portal. I picked one up about 2 weeks ago, but I don't think we've spoke since. So, I mean, that might need an episode on its own.
No. Let me rip the foil lid off.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
I can tell you how it happened.
I want to know chapter and verse on this Portal, you sneaky little rat. Tell me, first of all, first question that I've got straight out of the gates, do Nintendo know?
No.
They do now, right? Because Shiguri listens to the show, fact. So now the cat's out of the bag that you're playing another handheld device. Tell me about how the experience, because to those that don't know, you're American gaming on YouTube. You've built your success on being what I would call a Switch guru. You first came on the show and did a Switch buying guide, which has been a very successful episode. Even to this day, people are tuning into that in their droves to hear your take on using and playing and buying for a Switch in 2023 or 2024. Or maybe it was 2023. I can't even remember anymore.
It was 2023.
Okay, right.
2022. 2022, of course. No, because 24 Christmas hasn't happened yet. So it wasn't last year. Yeah, 23 was it or the year before?
I think it was
last year. Yeah, 23. Yeah.
Yeah, did a great episode on that. So you are known as the Nintendo champion. It's a title you've been lauded with. I don't know if it's the one you apply to yourself. In fact, I think you do. So now with that lens, tell me, A, how's the Portal? B, how is it compared to the Switch? And C, is there any roadmap for you back to the Nintendo catalogue now that you've sullied yourself with this filthy Sony device?
Well, I think there's a bit of unless I'm missing out the full functions of the Portal. The reason why I got one so cheap, and the reason why I got it at trading price off of a site in the UK called Vinted. I don't think it's European or worldwide. So it's like a second-hand pre-loved site, a bit like eBay, but not as mainstream. It's getting there. But yeah, I got one from there, and you hear mixed reviews about them. So I got it. I could trade it in tomorrow, so I've lost their money on it. But the reason why I got it, I'll tell you that, because that's the only purpose I've got it for, and I think it's the only purpose it has. Now, Pasta let me off for 1 week of compassionate leave, which was very nice. So I returned back to the UK, and Mrs. Marathon Gaming had some friends round. Now, she had some friends round. I wanted to enjoy their night, so I sat upstairs. Now, I didn't want to play my Switch. I wanted to play my PS5 on my big boy TV. I wanted to play Undisputed. And I was like, I can't. However, if I had a PlayStation Portal, then I could do. So, and I looked in the old calendar before returning back to El Paso, and she had some friends over again. And I was like, I'm going to get one. So I got one. and I literally brought it for the only occurrence and situation is I believe it's the only way it works. Now, it's just if you're on the same Wi-Fi. So I think people at first, when it was advertised, they might have thought it was like a Switch. You can play anywhere on the go. You can't. It's got to be on your own Wi-Fi connecting your house. So if you haven't got good Wi-Fi, you're buggered. If you're trying to play online, you're probably buggered. But what I'm playing it for is I've got the game. It's downloaded the software onto my hardware. So I'm playing it. I've got the full version. I'm playing the Portal. That's fine, and I love it. There's the screen's better than a Switch. I'd say it might whether it's as good as the OLED. I don't know. It's bigger than a Switch, so it's visually it looks better than my TV. To be honest with you, so visually it's the actual size of it. It's probably about the same size of a Steam Deck. It is quite bigger. Yeah. Very very comfortable. Like PlayStation controllers are. It's not heavy or anything. It's absolutely perfect. The actual system itself. I tell you what, if the Switch 2's like that, I'm not complaining.
Well, just because I'm scared now because I can hear almost a warehouse full of people hammering on their keyboards.
I'm gonna, yeah. Oh, okay, go on.
So the Portal technically is for use in and outside of your home.
Right, I don't know how you use it outside your home because I tried to do other things on it. For example, online gaming. You struggled with. If I try to play, for example, Until Dawn, I'm playing it streamed, right? Because I haven't set the cross save over when I've downloaded it. So I play it streamed. That doesn't work. So it is so limited. So how do you play that game outside your house from any Wi-Fi network?
Now let me talk you through this loosely, okay? To some people, they get lucky and it just works straight out the box, and that's great. And in your own home, there's a strong chance it will do. What the Portal can't do is stream a stream. So if you're cloud streaming Until Dawn, that's not going to work because it can't stream a stream. The same way you can't watch Netflix on it, which is really frustrating to me. You can't watch YouTube on it. You can't watch any of the apps. You can't stream Spotify while you're playing a game. You can't stream Apple Music while you're playing a game because it can't stream a stream. But what it can do is stream your PS5. Now, I had to get a little bit techie and get into my router settings and set the PS5 with its ports open and some other bits and bobs. And it sounds scary. And to me, I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. But actually, there's guides and bits and bobs online. If you have a little scratch in YouTube, there are people that can talk you through it. Technically, you don't need to do all of that. And if you went to your local hotel, sat down, typed in the Wi-Fi code, it would connect to your PS5. Now, situations may vary, but technically that should be. I don't use my.
That's basically a mod, though, isn't it? It's like saying you can get a PSP and you can get an emulator on it. I mean, you can go on YouTube. I'm sure there's a tutorial on open heart surgery, but I wouldn't try it on someone down the street.
Well, here's the alternative then. If you go onto PlayStation's official Portal page, it will teach.
Oh, it's on there.
It is. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. It's they realise that some people have got different routers. They realise that all sorts of issues have crept in. So it does teach you how to put your PS5 portals.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you get it all set up like I do, like I am admittedly not a million miles away. I'm in the compound and I'm probably 2 miles away from the PS5 in the gaming room here. That is so beautiful. And you've got the proper case
box
for it as well. Oh,
yeah.
Don't.
It's got all cases all around it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm very, very impressed with it. And to be honest with you, George, if you didn't mention it on the show, I wouldn't have got one. And I hear a lot of negative things about it. So I wanted to mention it because some people might think, well, that's pointless. But if you're in the same scenario like me, where you're like, do you know what? I wish I could play my PlayStation, but I can't tonight because my kids are watching something on TV. Then you can, and it's nice. It's nice not to be in separate rooms. Like my wife can sit there watching something on TV. I can sit next to her, play it handheld. We're both in the same room, enjoying each other's company. Yeah. Of course, we're not talking to each other. We've been married for 15 years. Why would we? But at least we're in the same room.
Yeah. Now, my man, right? My man knows how long-term relationships go. Perfect. Now. If people got in the time machine and went back to prior to Portal's launch, I was one of those people that was saying ridiculous. Okay. Now I said ridiculous up until I started reading a thread about it on Reddit, and I was like, oh, this has opened my eyes to Portal a bit, and actually it fits into my ecosystem better than I thought it did do. Now I know some listeners, Roast Space Monks picked one up, and I think Digital Monkery's threatening or had acquired one. which is great news to see them proliferate. And for exactly that reason, kids are watching something on the TV, and that first instance you said where you use it on your home Wi-Fi is pretty flawless there. I had to do some jiggery pokery with mine outside of the home. Inside the home, I didn't need to touch a thing. To get it to work outside the home, I needed to open up some ports, etc. But it was easy. Although initially that sounds intimidating, once I got going on the topic, it was easy. But I do see that as a little bit of a barrier entry to some people, like your good self. You kind of like, well, it doesn't work here and it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that. And yeah, Sony's answer is go to our website and follow our very long guide of how to make this work. It's not perfect, but when it's working, it is gaming perfection personified, because you can be playing PS5 in bed. You've got the adaptive triggers. It feels nice. The screen, considering it's 1080p, you hold it next to your 4K screen as you got both going at the same time. And I'm like, I know it's 1080p and it's got no HDR, but damn, this looks good.
Well, that's what blew my mind. So when I was playing Undisputed for like a whole week on the big TV, and then I've gone finally to play, the watered down version, what I was expecting, and undocked, if you will. And I was looking, and I was like, wow, this is good. And then a couple of fights in, I was like, no, it's not just good, it's better. Yeah. It is better than my actual TV. And now I'm trying to find a receipt for my TV back at Curry's. I'm like, I don't need a TV. I've got a PlayStation Portal. Take this back.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, dude. But, I would argue that it probably looks better on your telly, but the smaller screen size actually renders it to look better. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the TV in this basement, it's about 60 inches at the back. It's one of those heavy CRTs.
Wow. That's how I would describe Deb's Babs.
And you have 3D glasses for it.
Wow. I don't know Deb's Babs needs 3D glasses, but I don't want to get poked in the eye by that again.
We went right off on one because I wanted to express... sorry, I forgot about the Portal, but you was telling us about what you've been playing, and I rudely interrupted you, and I forgot where we were. I'm
really done with that now. You've got a portal. That's the only news I even care about, to be honest with you. But I'm sure the listeners want to hear other news. So we've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, don't go. Sega will delist a laundry list of classic Mega Drive and Dreamcast games from various storefronts on the 6th of December, prompting many fans to ponder how the publisher plans to replace them. While PlayStation is the least affected format due to its lack of backwards compatibility with the PS3, it's still going to lose the Sega Mega Drive Classics compilation from the PS Store. If you already own the game, then it will remain in your library. Now, on PC, Xbox, and Switch, tons of games are going to be removed, including the likes Sega Bass Fishing, Crazy Taxi, and Nights into Dreams. All begs the question, what has the publisher got cooking? Usually when a retro game like this gets removed from sale, it means either a license is expiring or a new compilation is coming. Considering Sega is planning new versions of classics like Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, Virtua Fighter, we're expecting to make the originals available in some form. We wouldn't be surprised if it created its own version of something like Capcom Arcade Stadium, a wrapper for all its retro releases. It'd be really nice to see a bit more of proactive porting games from Sega for the Saturn and Dreamcast eras alongside its Master System and Mega Drive classics. Obviously, we don't like to see games delisted, but would be lying if we weren't excited by what's to come. Game preservation is a big deal these days, and many publishers are finding success re-releasing and repurposing their old classics in a contemporary form. Let's hope Sega has a great compilation on the way. My question to you and the listeners, though, Scotty, is this. If you don't own the original of these, if you don't own the PS3 and Xbox 360 re-release of these, if you don't own the Switch re-release of these, if you don't own God knows how many of the myriads of compilations they've released, who the hell are they aiming this compilation at? Because they've already absolutely drenched the market. What's going on here, Scotty?
Well, I feel like everyone must have it, because it's not just the originals, but even like myself, who's got some of the originals, we've bought all these compilations many a time. Like I don't even. It's been remastered. Like we had it on like the 360, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then like I've even got the Mega Drive classics and stuff on the Switch. I know there's a Dreamcast one, the 360, and that is so cheaply available, even physical. I think it was at one point 19.99 from Argos, like to buy direct.
Yeah.
I know I've given it away on my channel years ago, that game, because it's a nice, easy one to pick up and everyone loves it. I just feel like everyone's already probably got that game, so I don't think it's disappearing from anyone's library, to be honest. Is it because they've done so much of a sale on it they can't?
Well, I was on there the other day and they had the Sega classics all broken down. If you look on the Nintendo Switch store at time of going to press, depends when you hear this, whether it's still there or not. I think there will be, 6th of December. But if you're late listening, you've just missed your Sega games. Where were you? You should have been here, then you'd know. They're still staying on the Nintendo Switch Online catalogue, which obviously creates some confusion. They're still currently listed on the Nintendo Store as an example in their individual ports. Like there's a port of Sonic 2, there's a port of Outrun, and they have been up for the last 6 months at about £1.79 to £2.29 price point, either dollars, pounds, euros, whatever. They're about the same. So I have a couple of thoughts. Either they're not getting the market penetration they would do, or have seen a quite a severe drop-off since putting the games on Nintendo Switch Online. Obviously, Switch 2's coming out, so it makes sense to clear the decks, re-release exactly the same cart, but on a Switch 2 cart and make you pay the 20 bucks for it next week. They haven't obviously re-released a compilation of it for the PS5 in the PS5 box, so we recognise it as a new release, and they haven't re-released it for the Series X either. So there's 3 consoles there, current market point consoles that you could re-release. Now, the Mega Drive Classics compilation is one thing. The 360 compilation of Bass Fishing, Crazy Taxi, and Nights into Dreams, or I think the other one was the Jet Set Radio, possibly Community Corrections. Is a different disc. But are they looking now? That's an interesting point about the Capcom Arcade Stadium. Are they looking to create their own online portal? Who knows? Either which way, it's exciting, but would I be more excited to hear about the sequels they've got to these games? Yes. How do I feel about them rehashing for the millionth time these games? I don't know. Scott, you say you've got it on Switch, you've got it on 360.
Yeah.
You've got some of the originals. Do you think you're going to double dip? Because you're a Switch collector. Are you going to double dip as part of your Switch 2 launch pack on this bad boy, do you think?
I don't think so, but they won't just release the same thing. So what they'll do is they'll just add something to it. So they might just make a hybrid between the two. So you might get the Dreamcast and the Mega Drive collection on the same thing. They might just get one extra game that makes it worth it. So, for example, with the Mega Drive collections, the reason why I jumped on it, there's a lot of common games on there which you could find everywhere. But there was the odd one, which is quite expensive. Alien Soldiers, Gunstar Heroes. Both those games are over £100 on the Mega Drive original hardware. So, they had those on there. So they might, and they know like the Dreamcast collection, just having, I'm not sure if Jet Set Radio is on there. I think you're right, but just Crazy Taxi alone helped sell that. So you're right. You're definitely right. This news report is they're cooking something. Whether they're taking those off to make some sort of retro online service, that's one possibility.
Yeah.
The other possibility is, yes, could they be re-releasing this as a PS5 game or as a Switch 2 game? They could be, but I don't think anyone's buying it unless they add something to it. And I'm not sure if they can add a game to it, because there's so many games in there you wouldn't notice. It will just get washed within the others. So they would have to make it together. So Mega Drive and Dreamcast, or more probably likely to be some sort of online thing. I would have thought some sort of free service subscription.
It better be free.
Yeah, I can't see them re-releasing it without. If they re-released it on current hardware, on the current box in a shop, they would have to add something to it. They couldn't just do it again. It's been too soon.
Agree. Well, let's get our teeth into this. Based on that, let's get our teeth into this next bit of news. Do you want to read it, or shall I put some Fixodent in?
Well, I could probably read the first line until it gets to president, and then I'll probably need your help for 2 words. So I might as well let you take the whole paragraph.
Okay. Say hello and goodbye to your backlog. I can't believe you've gone running from this, because I'm going to make an absolute dog's breakfast of it, but I'll give it a go. It's not the first time this gentleman's been on the show, and it won't be the first time that I probably called him Cat's doo-doo in Japanese, but we'll give it a good shot. Although Nintendo isn't ready to reveal the Switch 2 just yet, the company's president Shuntaro Furukawa has confirmed some big news during the latest corporate management briefing. Nintendo Switch software will be playable on this successor system. Along with this, it's also been confirmed Switch Online will be available on Nintendo's next-gen hardware. Here's the translated message on Nintendo's Japanese social accounts. From Mr. Furukawa. This is Furukawa, he says. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo's... So I did Furukawa flawlessly, but for some reason now I can't say Nintendo. It will be announced at a later date. As noted by Furukawa, fans can expect more updates about the Switch successor, including additional details about compatibility with the current system at a later date. This official update follows ongoing rumours about the successor model supporting backwards compatibility. Nintendo has previously mentioned its services and account systems will carry over to the next gen so it can create a lasting relationship with consumers. In the company's 6-month financial results presentation, Furukawa mentioned the ability to buy a broad selection of current Switch titles on the new system. In addition to being able to play Nintendo Switch software they currently own, consumers will be able to choose the next purchase from a broad selection of titles released for Nintendo Switch. Nintendo has confirmed this week it has no plan. Its plans haven't changed for the Switch successor and is still on track to be announced by the end of financial year, which it has a deadline, for those that don't know, of March 2025. Yes. So
that's big news. Yeah, big news that is.
That is the news that we've all been waiting for with our beloved red and blue systems. We've been sort of pulling hard on the head collar, hoping that Nintendo would reward their most successful system in many years with the ability for us to be able to play our games on the go on this, whatever the Switch 2 or whatever they're going to call it. God knows what they're going to call it. But it's good news to know that we will be able to carry on our games on there. And it's also good news that we'll be able to continue our Nintendo Switch Online activities. And I'm not talking multiplayer gaming. I'm talking specifically the classic Nintendo system game libraries that we have access to via the medium of Nintendo Switch Online. That's all good news. Scotty, you are our resident Switch guru. Pastor crowned you. He literally tattooed one half of your body red and the other half of your body blue. On one side of your body, he grapples with your nipple. On the other side of your body, he grapples with what I presume to be an overgrown mole. Although
I was going to say my Prince Albert.
No, I didn't want to make an assumption that was your Prince Albert. It's an awfully... look, you know, you're the Switch guru. What do you make of this? This is the news you've been waiting for, right?
Well, I feel like they're dodging the question still. It's like they're not committing to, is it backwards compatible or is it not? And it can't not be. How do you obviously we've got, I wonder what the actual little chip's going to be. You know, like I don't know if it was a DS to the 3DS, but it had a little kink in it to stop you from putting the actual same game in.
I my gut feeling and my interpretation from what I've read online, and there's been a few sort of patent leaks, and we don't do leaks and we don't do rumours on the show, but
yeah,
you know, unsubstantiated stuff on various different message boards around the world. That's exactly what they'd be looking to do, to put that little tag on it. So it will take a Switch game, but it means that if Mumsy buys you a Switch 2 game for your Mark 1 Switch, when you get home, it just won't fit.
It won't go back in it.
Then Mumsy will go, oh, look what Mumsy's done. I've bought the wrong game. She gets back in the car. She drives to the local conurbation and she swaps it for the Switch version. They're very good like that. And I'm actually quite relieved that it will take original Switch games. There are some games on there that, you know, digital foundry.
Be an outrage, wouldn't it?
It would be an outrage, and it would be interesting to see the graphical uplift potentially, depending on how they operate, of some of the older Mark 1 Switch games on Switch 2. Now we've hit some of the later games; they've had some slight issues with, I would say, because it's the end of the Switch's life, and we're asking a lot of it at this point, a lot. So for that window to be open to allow you to take a late game Switch game, if you pardon the pun.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And you put that in your Switch 2 and you carry on. And not only is it the same game, but it's maybe slightly improved frame rate, etc. I don't imagine Nintendo, although there was that alleged footage of them giving people hands-on with Legend of Zelda running on a Switch 2 prototype where the visuals are increased and the draw distance are higher, and it was on a 4K screen, as an example. I don't think we're going to get a 4K screen, but yeah, I don't know what upgrades we're going to get because the systems, it might be difficult to implement. But yeah, I'm excited to be able to continue the story. It's nice that the Switch 2 is going to have a library straight out the gates, right? And someone like you, I don't know how many of those are red-ended cases.
It's been nearly 8 years. This is the longest running Nintendo console. It's surpassed everything else.
How many red enders have you got?
I've got many Joy-Cons, to be honest with you. So I've not just got red enders. I've got blue, gold,
red enders.
yellow.
I'm thinking of the Switch type software. You know, the spines. They're red, aren't they? So
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Joy-Cons.
No. Nor am I talking about your John Thomas.
Oh, right. I keep it capped at 200 because I've got a 200 capacity rack and it's always full. And at the moment, there's half a dozen games on the floor. So I will trade 6 in and 6 will go in. It's always capped at 200, my collection for Switch, physical. 200 red spines.
Okay, well, I didn't expect the show to go this way, but my curiosity, the way it is, I need to know now what selection process you put these games through to decide whether they have to go or whether they stay.
Do you know what the most frustrating thing is? Getting them in alphabetical order. So I leave a big build up and I'm like, I'm not just going to swap everything around for one game. I wait till there's a good half a dozen. I'm at this situation now. And when I go to do it, what I do, the selection process, I start alphabetically and I'll have a look, and it's what I have lost passion for. So it might just be something I've got to a point in the game. I might have completed it, might not have. And I've got no passion for it, even if it's not a value thing. It's more of if that game didn't hit quite there, then it would have gone. For example,
okay. So
I'll give you an example of it.
Okay.
So we had Neve come out on the Switch. Now, that's just, I've heard it's been announced as a physical to come out soon. I got that digitally a week ago because I was excited to play it. Now, I played it a couple of hours. I probably won't play it again. If I had that physical, that would be gone. So there are some games. Five Nights at Freddy's was one of the most recent to come out.
Gallop Racer, has that survived?
Oh, no, multiple copies. There's a whole rack, actually, for G1 jockey-inspired games. Far Lap Racing Challenge.
That's it, Far Lap.
Now, that is a game of the century. I've got so many copies of it for so many consoles. It is such a good game. And I'm just worried that at some point, those games, if one breaks, like all the ET games, everyone says, oh, it's a terrible game. They found loads in a Vegas, in a landfill. I don't think that's what's happened. I think someone like myself is obsessed with the game. Someone was obsessed with ET. They got so many copies, and like a squirrel with a nut, they buried them. So they had a timeless, endless amount of that game cartridge. And I'm like that with Far Lap Racing Challenge. I don't want to be in a position where I can't play the game because it gets popular in 2093. So I've bought loads of copies to make sure I can play it forever, baby. Was that the news you was hoping for?
It's not the news I was hoping for, but it's surprisingly now the news I needed.
That's probably my brightest red spine as well. But yeah, it couldn't not be backwards compatible because all the younger audience, that's how they persuade mummy poos to, get them a new console. They get the console there, and it's not like traditionally, a lot of these shops have gone now. Game don't do much with pre-owned. So traditionally, your mum would go over there at Christmas. She'd trade in all the games, knowing she paid £30 for each game. She'd have a stack of games, and she'll think, right, I'll get cash back off this. Here's 30 games in my console. And they go, thank you, Mrs. Jones. That grand total, would you like cash or credit? And she go, oh, credit, please. I'm about to buy the Switch 2. And they go, okay, Mrs. Jones, your remaining balance is $3.99 because you've made £7.99 in trade credit. So with this being backwards compatible, it means you keep your collection. It grows. What a great thing.
Yeah, to be fair, I think we could all do with a bit of growing, not showing. This is great news, Scotty, and I'm pleased this has happened, and it certainly makes me more likely to buy the Switch 2. Just
Do
saying.
I need Switch 2 racks though? I'd have to get Switch 2 racks, wouldn't I? So
I'll be honest with you. You talking to me about your 200 upper limit on the Switch library has given me. I've broken out in hives. I think for the money you've wasted buying and trading, you could have just bought another shelving unit.
could have done, yeah.
Here's the next bit of news. Take Death Stranding for a walk. Possibly. Seemingly out of nowhere, Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding has been launched on Xbox Series X and S. If you're listening now, get it downloaded. It'll be the best game you've ever played. Trust me on this. And Amazon Luma, via publisher 505 Games, one of Bada Pinkster's favourite publishing houses. The game once was exclusive to PlayStation, following significant support from Sony, alongside collaboration with Guerrilla Games via Decima Engine. Not forgetting, this is a Decima Engine game. Decima Engine was developed by Guerrilla for in-house use for PlayStation Studios. They allowed Hideo, after setting up his own studio, to create Death Stranding in the Decima Engine. So we're about to see, almost in a way, a PlayStation exclusive on the Xbox. But that's what I'm not here to crow about. I'm not crowing about that. A PC release followed soon after, with a director's cut also arriving in 2021 for PS5 and 2022 for PC. Now, according to a report from Automaton, developer Kojima Productions supposedly gained full control of the IP. It's now his, thus significantly raising the possibility of a release on even more platforms down the line. Dare we say it, Scotty? And this is the reason for the headline, perhaps even the Switch 2. Now, you're playing a walking simulator, as some people call it, which isn't true, while taking a walk. This is so meta. A launch on the current Switch family of systems seems somewhat unlikely given the graphical capability of the game, particularly if the director's cut specifically that's being ported to new platforms. However, we certainly wouldn't rule out a release on Nintendo's upcoming successor to the Switch. In a press release, Hideo Kojima himself stated Kojima Productions' Death Stranding will continue to connect more and more players around the world, so please stay tuned. Scotty, do you have any interaction with Death Stranding historically, or is this...
I know this is exclusive to me in my universe. I know nothing about this.
Well, depending on your patience threshold, I personally, for me, this was the game of the PS4 generation, but I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's bloated on purpose. Its controls are physically involving on purpose, and the storyline and the objectives used to complete the storyline is somewhat convoluted. But if you take all of that away and look at it through the artistic impression of how the game makes you feel and how it makes you feel interacting with it through those button prompts, etc., a great example is this. If you're fully loaded with your backpack, you can pick up parcels with your spare hand, with your hands. But to physically hold them, you have to hold down left and right trigger to simulate the physical effort of carrying them. When you let go of the triggers, your character just drops them on the floor. Yeah.
Sounds like Octodad.
A little bit like that, yeah. Knowing Kojima, that probably might have been an inspiration. So you have to physically grab these with the triggers and walk forward with them.
I like that. That's cool. So it's more interactive than you realise.
And for that reason, it grounded me in the universe. You know, when you're physically having to physically endure something on the pad, so your character can physically endure it on the screen, you feel it more. And for me, that reason is the reason why I felt Death Stranding was one of the freshest games that I'd played in a long time. It doesn't tie itself to the Metal Gear Solid traditions of the stealth, although that is in there in the back if you're really that interested. But it gives you multiple ways of solving the scenario. If you just want to deliver parcels in it, you can do. For me, the opening area in that game is one of the best realised opening areas in any game. And if you've not played this, I implore you to at least give it a go. The way the music and the selections of music that Hideo chose are woven into not only the narrative, but the gameplay experience is second to none. And if you don't get chills down your spine as you tumble down a hill to the sounds of low roar, I ask you this: are you even a human? Scotty? off the back
I've
of
seen
this.
this. I have seen this on the PlayStation Plus. I recognise the thumbnail cover art. It looks
Yeah.
very familiar. And to be honest with you, it wasn't jumping out at me, but I do recognise it. There is something I do want to play first on the PlayStation. Well, online services might be Xbox, but that will be something I'm going to make a note of, George. And I tell you what, I'm going to give that a go and let you know what I think about it in a later show, I think.
Well, I've just jumped on the Discord to navigate my way to our subscribers, so we can read them out as per is their monetary perk. And on my way there, I happened into general nonsense, and the boys are already all over it. Although we reported it before, it's now 20 minutes. It's now 18 minutes past 7, and Roast Space Monk is trying to download this on his Series X. So you don't. You can't say we don't give the hottest news, guys, because we do try. Now. Okay. Seb's banging on the door, but
I was trying to show you that, yeah.
Yeah.
I just spotted that.
I think he's going to have to wait. So let's do the community corrections first. Community corrections? Well, yeah, we have actually got some, and to do it justice, we ought to check them out. So, yes.
I think even I piped up in community corrections last week.
Community correction here from Carlos on the 24th of July 2019 in episode 17, George. You said it just impacted on the sign. On the side, the line goes negative. It didn't go in. It just impacted on the surface. He says, I've been working a lot on my own for the best part of 4 hours on the train. So I think that's why he's gone a little bit deep there. Tingle Tuna says he was delighted to hear the Dicky Bird reference on the podcast this week. Next episode, I need to hear you some reet proper yellow belly dialect from UC George.
Before we get another community correction of a community correction, is it not Tingle Turner?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. You've added another layer of confusion to something that I'm already very confused by. And he wants to hear more about Tate Riddling Simulator 2024 and the upcoming releases. A character called Marathon Gaming jumped on the community corrections to correct me and Seb. He's included a dictionary definition here of Dicky Bird.
It wasn't really a correction. It was more information. It was just, I was agreeing with you, if anything.
Okay. Well, I don't think I did, Dicky. As
I'm within arm's reach of you, I don't want to upset you because I can see you've got a shovel in one hand and I don't want to be your next victim.
That's Pastor's Big Spoon.
Yeah.
Right. So, according to the internet, Dicky Bird is a British informal from Cockney rhyming slang used to, especially in a negative construction, a brief chat. We've not heard a Dicky Bird about anything relating to his birthday. There you go.
Example there.
Look, that's what the internet provided. You provided it to me. I read it out. So thank you to your good self, to Tingle Tuner, and to the mighty Carlos. Looking forward to find out what was said wrong this episode. But if they have heard if they've heard me say something wrong, and today I don't feel okay with my full brain, but we don't like to cheat and use Google mid-episode. We like to come here and rely only on the facts we have in our head. Else, anyone could Google anything, and hence what would be the point of us. So we have to come in with what we've got in our tank, and if that's nothing, you're going to own us. If it's something, we might get away with it. Probably not getting away with it. Community corrections, though, Sir Scotty. How would they get in contact with us and let us know that I don't know one side of Death Stranding to the other, and if I think that I've seen X, Y, and Z on the Nintendo Switch store, I'm obviously smoking what's known in the industry as high grade Sensimilia. What?
Well, they can get in contact with us via the Discord under the Community Corrections tab. The Discord is free. It's in the show notes of every episode, probably in description of the video on YouTube as well. Or just ask any of the guys you know that's in there, and they can send you the invite link if you do happen to know anyone involved in the Discord or any of the hosts. Or they can contact us as well. Questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com or DM us on Instagram or Twitter.
Handled like a true pro, sir. Thank you for that. Hopefully they'll be kicking the doors off, telling me all the things that I've said wrong, while telling you how handsome and dashing you are. May I just take a moment to say how wonderful you look in that hoodie? Tell me the
Thank you.
story of this hoodie.
Oh, that's actually. Oh, yeah, I suppose you can't really see the logo. So this is actually a friend of mine, Mitch. He's this is actually his merchandise. It's called Retro Rummage. It's got a PlayStation 1 console on the front. And this is his clothing line. Now, unfortunately, I'm in a contract where I have to wear this for 24/7 for how many weeks there in a year? 52 last time I checked. 12 months, carried a one plus the. Yeah, I've got about 16 years of wearing this. And then he said he'd give me a Kit Kat bar. So it was a good deal.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Let's send him a
nice, very
Let's
nice.
send him a UCP shirt then. He props us.
Force him to wear it. Yeah.
We're propping in. We're going to prop him, but under the same rules he puts my beloved co-host under, being stitched into a garment for 16 years. Let me tell you now, Retro Rummage. Yeah, listen in here now. You pick a fight with one of us, you pick a fight with all of us. You've got him wearing this beastly merch with your name splattered all over it. No doubt a YouTube channel of high merit that we should all check out, but I don't like the way you're dealing with my Scotty here. And I tell you what, when Pastor finds out, he'll bloody stand up in that jacuzzi with Trump, and then he'll stand up, and then he'll come and get you. And you don't want a stood up pastor coming down on your back doors. I'll tell you now. Nobody wants that. Well, I mean,
some people would pay for it, and my friend Mitch, he's into stuff.
$4,000 a month. Yeah, okay. We'll sign him up to the failed gaming YouTube celebrity format, and we'll relaunch his career come December.
Can we just clarify? Is Pastor on OnlyFans or not on the apps? Is he on there or not, Pastor?
No, he doesn't use OnlyFans. He uses his great inspirational leader Trump's social media system called The Truth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where you get his OnlyFans images. Yeah, he made a commitment to Trump. He's contractually obliged to have all of his sort of images on there. It was one of the big launch packages when he launched the Truth social media network. That's all I know. That's all I know. With all that said and done, every single week we read out some names. Now, there's a reason for that, because you beautiful human beings have decided to support us financially. Now, before you turn off in disgust like another one of these bloody shows, the show will be free. It's free now. It will always be free. But if you are feeling like you're the kind of person that wants to support this highbrow show you've been listening to, and God knows we need a financial investment immediately, you can support us with the following tiers. Tier 3 is going to be a readout on every show, just like you're hearing now. Tier 5 is a readout on every show and access to art merch yearly. Tier $8 is going to get you read out on every show, art merch yearly, and access to the Inglorious chat. The $10 tier is going to get you a readout on every show, art merch yearly, access to the Inglorious chat, and a quarterly Zoom meeting with your hosts. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't get any better than that. Also, George's special deal as the beloved, I call him Kim, but his username is Cnox. Thank you very much, all the way from Sweden. He signed up. Anyone who signs up between now and Christmas, you missed the early adopter pack. For that, I'm very sorry. In a way, you've only got yourself to blame. But as a thank you to you for signing up, you immediately get a T-shirt. So if you sign up at $3, we're still very grateful. You're going to get a T-shirt. The T-shirt probably equates to more than your yearly subscription. So it's a great way of getting a new item of clothing for less than a cup of a cop. No, that's going to haunt me.
Yeah, in fact, you could. Yeah,
that's going to haunt me. That slip up for the rest of my podcasting career. I know it is. All right, for less than a cup of cop, and I can't even imagine.
What I was going to say is, I tell you what, there's a little bit of a money-making side hustle here. You could subscribe to the show, right, for a month, receive the free T-shirt, sell it back to us, and you could cancel subscription. You'd make money.
Yeah, because we don't like merch getting out in the wild.
So can't have it at your local Sunday car boot sale, that's for sure.
You can't see that hanging on a blooming hanger at a charity shop because you've outgrown it. Absolutely not. No, put the sandwich down, go for a walk. You need to stay locked forever in the size that you are now in that UCP shirt. I joke and I mess about. We're so grateful to the people that would commit to us on a monthly basis with the financial support. As we say, we don't expect it. The show will always be free. We try and pay you back through the means of giving things back to you, either the t-shirt or the early adopter pack, and we always will. So don't just think it's dead money and we're going to run for the hills. We're not those guys. Equally so, if you want someone to fight your corner, fight for the small man, you know that George will always be here for you. Now, if you want to get in contact with me, you can email the show directly, or you can jump into my DMs on the Discord. If you DM me, I will always answer you as quick as I can. If it's in the main chat, I might not see it because you guys talk all the time, and scrolling back through 2 days because I've been busy is a bit difficult. So if you want to reach out to any of us directly, jump in our DMs on the Discord. Try me through the Instagram if you like. I might be able to respond to you there, but primarily I'm looking in the DMs on the Discord. So if you want to, hang on, I want to have a one-to-one with George. He's my special boy. You can do that. If you want a one-to-one with Scotty, my special boy, you can do that. Don't forget, Scotty's also got his own show, Marathon Gaming. He's got his own Discord. If you're here as a result of that, or vice versa, we love you too. Scotty, I think that's pretty much covered off the surrounding the guilt of collecting money from people, which I do feel guilty for, because the show will always be free, but we do appreciate this. It's time to do the names.
Let's do it.
So straight out the gates, we've got the new to us, but very familiar, Cnox.
We've also got Carlos.
Which means... Oh, I've actually confused myself. Carlos, the one-man George fan club, might I add.
Oh, yes. That's a good point.
I like the way you've all tried.
Yeah.
RGT's fan club is sacrosanct, but mine, it's like, no, bury it. Bury him. It's like, don't you dare. I've got one guy, and you're like, no. I thought after 5 years, I thought Carlos and Mumsy might think more of me, but obviously not.
Well, here's my guy, the number one marathon gaming disciple, Firm Returns.
Do you know?
I mean, I've added that in there, but he's my boy.
I believe it to be true. It's absolutely 100% true. And quite rightly, you deserve it. Up next, that means I get... Now, we've hosted an episode there on the intersection of Broadway in Queens. It's Trestles, New York.
Then we have the Bada Bing Star. I don't know if the pronunciation come up there. Let's go one more time. Bada Bing Star.
And here's another retro throwback I totally forgot about. Everybody stand up, sir. Yes, Italian flag, sir. Everybody sit down now, sir. Italian flag, sir. Off the back of that, I've got Tingle Tuna.
Well done. I tried to throw you off the scent earlier.
You did. You threw me a rubber dog.
You passed the Ted. Then we have got Digital Monkery. And Digital Monkery, by the time you listen to the show, he would have received a special care package from myself. I've sent him a little gift.
Nice. That's reminded me of something. We'll use the show to use as our own personal message board.
Yes, it's a diary.
Now, you might think that we're surrounded by religious types here, but we've got another monk for you. This one's a Roast Space Monk.
Then we have the Gaming Gran.
He's sod. Okay, fine. That means I get Bald Border.
Then we have Boba. Hello, Boba.
You got to stop this now, because that means I have to say.
I don't know how to cancel it. You've heard it. That's the truth.
Let's hope you and everybody. And if you're wondering, and again, we're not very good at this, I think you can tell. If you're wondering where you can support the show, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Apple Music, at the bottom of the description and on the YouTube, we've started to add it. There's a link to our secure podcast hosting site where you can do a very safe and secure transaction. If you wouldn't know our podcast hosting site is, it's a well-renowned Buzzsprout, so don't you worry. Your money, your transaction details and everything will be safe. So you're not going to get caught. We don't own any of your details. They're all locked away in Buzzsprout's special vault. In untouchable, I've heard. Which means I get Yeah, Marathon Gaming. I'm going to keep my teeth in because I would like to personally thank Seal Master Elliot because I am in the receipt of 2 games from the mighty Seal Masters collection. I would
So they're
say,
sealed then. They've got to be sealed. Show them. Are they within reach?
no. He's ripped the outer layer of skin off these, and I think
No.
for that reason they're solid, and now he wants them gone. He jumps.
I'm not calling him Seal Master Elliot anymore. It's just Master Elliot. I'm not calling him no, I'm not having that.
Okay, well, I've got to keep my teeth in here because it's been a while, but I just want to thank my red-headed ginger stepson, the beloved yet swollen in all the right ways, Ginge.
Is he 5 or 6-time champion? I've got to do a special. I want to do something special for him. And are we 5 or 6? I feel like he might be 6. 6-time challenge accepted champion. So anyone that's new to the show,
let's face it, if you get in the 6,
yeah,
it's a bit like buying clothes for a kid. I think I would go for the 7-time world champion because then he's got space to grow into it.
Well, I think he's 7. We know it's coming. But yeah, anyone that's new to the show, if this is the first time listening, in the Discord, there is a challenge accepted tab, which was started a run by our very own Digital Monkery, and he does a little high score challenge each month of a different game. And Ginge just seems to smash all of us out of the park. He is a robotic gaming, I'm going to say legend.
I
He's that
deposited
good.
everything I know about games into his mother, and Ginge was born. Hang on, he's my stepson.
Speaking of legends, Emma Sharp, how are you doing?
Is Emma on the apps now again or not? What's the story there?
I think Tom said not. So until OG Tom's back on the show, I guess we wouldn't know.
Okay, well, what I would say to Emma is congratulations to you and your better half. I wish you both the best in your new romantic endeavours. And the rest of us will have to wait until you arrive back on the apps again to be in with a shout. If you've secured Emma's shot, that means I have the Master of Darkness, Harvey Retro. I love what you do with Greg.
I was just thinking then, literally. So next we have, now it's starting to bother me a little bit. I don't know if anyone's seen Columbo, or any serial killer for that matter. So when you're trying to work something out, if you're like watching Saw and they're trying to find who's behind like a criminal mastermind, you see all these drawings and graphs and there's pinpoints working out where things are. That's what's going on in this basement because I can't work out. But we have got someone subscribed to us and he's put nowhere near Berlin. And I know he's just trolling me. He's trolling me. His location. He's got so many servers diverted. He's got a VPN on top of a VPN underneath another VPN, tucking another VPN in a car door. And I just can't work out where the devil he is. And I've got to a point now, I'm spinning myself round, pinning a towel on a donkey, blindfolded, having a slice of cake, down in a peanut butter colado, and I'm throwing a dart straight at a map, trying to work out where he is. And do you know where he is?
I don't know.
I'll tell you where he is. He's nowhere near Berlin.
Since you started doing that, I've actually
To be continued.
I fast forwarded to it because I just love to hear whatever you're going to say.
What you meant? You just fast forwarded the show?
No, I wouldn't do that. Not. No. Someone has to listen to it. I've got to have one listener somewhere, and it's me. That means I get the immortal mumsy.
I need to make myself laugh. So I know it's going to come up with Unity corrections if anyone listens to that back. I just made up a drink. I think I said a peanut butter colado. I don't even know what that is. I just invented it. But, it could be a cocktail somewhere.
Yeah, I might make it. They're not highbrow enough to have had it. I don't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you haven't. You telling me you haven't been on a penthouse suite at 2 a.m. sipping a peanut butter colado? Who are you, kind sir? Right, did you hit me with the mumsy? Because I can't wait for this one. The RGT fan club, baby.
Oh, wow. That means I get the immortal Pete Brocklehurst.
And then I get, big shout out, I had a curry last night, and this is a true story. I had a curry last night, right? Stay with me, George, right? And everyone thinks I'm mad when I tell them this, but I will show you the receipt and I will show you the menu. This particular establishment has invented its own naan bread. Now you get coconut naan, chili naan, keema naan. George is looking at me like I've gone insane. Right, he's invented a Marmite naan bread, and it is so delicious. And I had a Marmite naan last night, and honestly, I was eating it last night, dipping it in my fish curry, and I thought to myself, I paused for a second. I thought, I wonder how Billy is. Big up Billy Marmite, is what I'm saying.
You can never talk about eating a fish curry again. The idea just made me yak in my face.
It was a fish booner, and I dipped my Marmite all over that. Right, while you're laughing, Simon Pryke. How are you doing? Shout out to Simon. I'll get that in, and then that works out perfect. It means that this last special one.
Let me get myself prepared. I hope he's prepared. I hope that Zangief, if you're listening, you've just cleared a small area for wherever you are. You've put down some polythene and you're going to lay down. Because I'm about to give you everything you always dreamed of. Zangief!
Oh, we've run out of baby wipes. This is going to be a big clean-up operation.
Aisle 5. Thank you. We had a bit of fun there. It wasn't at your expense. We hope you enjoyed it. We're very grateful for every single last one of you. And the fact that more of you are signing up is red rag to a bull for us to carry on with this drivel. I'll be honest with you. If you want to see
it, they enjoy it.
Yeah, I hope they enjoy it too.
I enjoy that they enjoy it. That's my enjoyment.
I enjoy that you enjoy that they enjoy it. That's where I get my enjoyment. I
enjoy that they enjoy it. That's my enjoyment, that you enjoy that I enjoy it from their enjoyment.
So we're all enjoying each other. I think this is beautiful. Oh my God. I did not expect this to happen. Look at the floor. Look at the floor immediately because someone's just walked in and some budgie smugglers.
Oh, it's the smock.
Not this week. He's wearing a MAGA hat. He's got one hell of a sunburn, and he looks absolutely wasted. I remember the last time he was like this, and I couldn't walk for a week. So it's time for a peek in what we affectionately call past the Longhorns budgie smugglers. What's nestled between some cult paraphernalia and a dodgy copy of Battlefield Earth this week. These are new release highlights for the week, November 10th to 17th, 2024. Listeners, these are out on digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast is in your feed, but could be region dependent. Now, sat down, I tell you what, he's full of the joys of spring, and he's carrying what can only be called a ukulele. So hopefully you can tell the difference in the outro this week. I'm going to give him a quick reach around, if you don't mind. There's not a lot of room for movement here, but I'm going to pull myself out those budgie smugglers, a copy of The Rise of the Golden Idol. Now that's on, get ready for this. It's on PS5, it's on Xbox Series X, it's on PC, it's on PS4, it's on Nintendo Switch. It's also getting a release on Commodore 64 and will form part of the lineup on Channel 4's relaunching CFAX system. It's coming out on November 12th, 2024. The award-winning detective saga returns in this standalone sequel to the case of the Golden Idol and cover the truth behind 20 strange cases of crime, death, and depravity in the 1970s. The world's changed dramatically. The sins of humanity, I can vouch for this, have not.
It looks a bit like Cluedo, that game. I'm not aware of the series leading up to it, but it's coming out on the Commodore 64, you say?
That was me having a little bit of fun at the expense of it being on.
Oh, because sometimes with limited run games, they bring out, like you can buy, I've got a Dreamcast game from Bitmap Games. They sometimes bring things out that are compatible, don't they? Even for like
that's right,
16 bits and stuff. So I literally thought.
Yeah, I realise now my foolishness and my willing to mess around has actually confused the rather serious message of this game's launching platforms.
Well, to be fair, you've fooled me and I've got the notes in front of me, so I feel sorry for everybody else.
And to be honest, I fooled myself when I got halfway into that teletext rant. So, What's next out of his budgie smugglers, good sir?
The next one is called, Is This Game Trying to Kill Me? and it's on PC only. Disappointing. November 13th, 2024. An old shack deep in a dense forest, a strange computer, and a game that's trying to kill you. Now, I had a little brief look at this. I'm assuming it's just the name of the game. It's just so difficult. You feel like the game is trying to kill you. Is it just too hard to play? Is that the angle they've gone at?
I don't know. Pasta brought it in, covered in what looks like chlorinated water straight out of a hot tub. I'd like to think that's what it is. I don't want to labour on it too much, and I'm certainly not going to taste it.
Pasta, have you played these games, Pasta? Oh, yes. He said, "Don't look at him in the eye, otherwise he won't answer."
Sorry,
I looked at him. Yeah. Sorry.
When he's this wasted,
yeah. When he's this moist, he's just not one at all.
don't look at him. I mean, listen, he's had what a week he's had. What a week him and Big Donald T have had. It's unbelievable.
Oh, he's had it. He's. Do you know what? He's drunk a lot, but he's surprisingly dry. We need to get E45 on his back. It's like you could grate cheese across his spine.
Do you think that Trump's presidency can survive being associated with probably the darkest outlook cult in the UK? Is it going to do in the US? Is it going to do him any good to be associated with a cult in El Paso?
I mean, the main thing we should be worried about is it while we're in here, what if he builds a wall around us? Because then we'll have a metal fence, a timber fence, metal chain fence, and a masonry wall all the way around us. And I'm starting to think, hold on a minute, what if Triple S and RGT are double agents and they're aware of this, and that's why they're absent right now, because they're currently helping Trump build a wall around the... I don't even want to think about it. I hope they're not. I can't see. We'll have to wrap this up soon just so we can find out.
We've got to put all our hope into Bobby, if that's the case, because
I know.
The enemy within is probably our most dangerous enemy right now.
Well, Bobby ordered 5 tons of cement and 2 silos the other day and a mixer. And I thought, I wonder what he's doing, an extension perhaps on, I don't know, one of his hotels. And maybe he's the ringleader.
Nah, I think Bobby's going to, I like to think he's going to use those vehicles to bust us out.
Yes, go on, Bobby.
Christmas special heads up's where you heard it first. Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake coming out on the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. I think we gave you an insight into this because Triple S was playing this a week ago. Don't say we don't get exclusives.
And I've played the first 2 and not the third, so I'm very interested. But I've got a remastered version of it on the Switch physical, but it's not a HD 2D remake.
Ah, there you go, you see. So you get this version is all Octopath Traveler up in your face. This, I think I've said the formats is coming out, but I'm going to say them again so we don't sell it too short. PC, PS5, Series X, and Nintendo Switch. 14th of November 2024, Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake is a stunning reimagining of the beloved masterpiece and a narrative beginning, so this might be one for you to grab hold of, to the Erdrick trilogy.
Now, you've played Horizon Zero Dawn, haven't you? And Horizon...
I have.
Are you going for the full set? You've played 2. Have you played the third? Perhaps the best?
Well, as terms of full sets go, Ode Numbnuts over here has got himself a copy of the VR climbing game. He's got himself a copy of the PS4 original. He's got himself a copy of the PS5 copy of Forbidden West, and he's also gone and secured himself a copy of the remake for PS5. This strange cat is probably front and centre to acquire this next title, but he's going to shock you by saying he's going to acquire it for the Switch, just for the Oddity effort alone.
Lego Horizon Adventures on... do you know what? I'm glad you said Nintendo Switch, because I was thinking, what's NS? PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, November 14th, 2024 release date. So, in this game, you join a machine hunter, Aloy, as she... Is it Aloy?
Aloy, I think she calls
I was going to say, because there'd be 2 L's. So, join a machine hunter, Aloy, as she leads a colourful crew of heroes on a quest to save the world and learn the secrets of her past. Dive into boundless adventure, customised to your heart's content, and take on action-packed battles solo or with friends such as me and George.
You got that right, you sexy son of a gun. Now, while Pastor perfects and tunes up his G-string, I feel it's no, detune that G-string pasta, because actually, which is your pasta vasa for this week?
Well, I know very little about is this game trying to kill me, but not enough to intrigue me. With Rise of Golden Idol, because it's not on a Commodore 64, I don't know if I'm going to find a way of playing it. So, do you know what? I'm going to go with Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. That is a mouthful, isn't it? That is. I wonder if that fit on the spine of the Nintendo Switch. That's why they got to bring out the Switch 2, because I heard the cases are 10 millimeters longer.
I wasn't sure what you were looking at, and I thought you were talking about Pasta's Widowmaker there. And I was going to say, that's at least the girth of 40.
Widowmaker.
Switch.
Indeed. But yes, I'm going to go with Dragon Quest 3 because I haven't played Dragon Quest 3 and I've played the first two, completed the first one, didn't like the second one because you've got a party. It's not just you and your own.
Yeah.
I don't like people following me around, just quit it. Like if I want to take a break and lean against a tree and have a sandwich, I don't want to be, let's do this quest, let's do that quest. No, I'll do the quest when I want to do the quest. Thank you very much. That's my pick.
Right, fine. And as I say, my quest for weird gaming oddities, one-offs and first-offs is going to lead me to buy a Lego Horizon Adventures on the aforementioned Nintendo Switch. Will I get it on PS5? I don't know. I feel like it's a game I just want to have on the go on a bit more of a throwaway platform. Yeah. And that sounds like I'm doing injustice to the Switch, but because it's not linked to trophies, because it doesn't have any of that stuff in there, it really feels like a really free and giving place to play something like a Lego game. And therefore, I'm going to pick it up on Lego Horizons Adventures.
Let me ask you this then, because we've been talking PlayStation Portal. Now, can you play Lego Horizons Adventures on a Nintendo Switch going down a water slide in a pair of Speedos? You could, couldn't you?
You could.
Now, could you do it going down a water slide in a pair of trunks with a little pineapple stick in one finger, holding the triggers of a PlayStation Portal? Could you do that with limited Wi-Fi?
If you'd gaffer taped your 5G mobile phone to your head and use that as a hotspot.
Hotspot, you've got me. Hotspot. Yeah, that's why you're the director of the show. Well done.
I think you'll find that you have all marked me as the cleaner.
Listen,
I'm happy with that.
We know I'm head boy. However, Pastor did say there's room for head girl. And that could be you.
I'm literally one slip away from that role in the potato peeling room. So I feel that's something I could work up to. I really do.
One cheap accidental procedure from it. That's it.
As I used to say to my mum, accidentally on purpose, I did this. Pastor, accidentally on purpose in the potato peeling room. I've qualified as...
That is a strange selection that Pastor has brought in for us this week. Do you not feel?
I feel this week he's got carte blanche to bring in anything, because what a week he's had. What a week he's had.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? How dare me even say anything? Because he's been enjoying himself and he's obviously had a big impact on what's been going on.
I heard Donald say in the after party that Pastor showed me on a message that Big Donald T got up and said that Donald Trump, POTUS elect, said at his Thanksgiving speech to his own followers, "I wouldn't be here without this guy. Great guy, bring him in. Lovely guy. He loves cults right now." Does Trump? He's actually managed to secure for Pastor dispensation for the Great Ascension to be registered as a religion, and therefore, ergo, circumvent paying any tax.
I'm wondering at the end of the month whether if he's not too busy, whether he can get Trump to come on for a Thanksgiving special show.
Listen, you get ready for this, right? Because Donald T did Theo Von, he did Rogan.
Yeah. Yes. I see where this is going.
Pastor had him lined up to come on, but we just couldn't get the diarist to align, right? But apparently, he is going to come on the Unofficial Controller Podcast. POTUS owns, Pastor owns this now. And we're going to come on. We're going to have him on here. We're going to talk to Donald about his gaming history. He's going to bring on Baron, his kid. He's going to talk about Pokemon, and he's got 202 Red Spine Nintendo Switch games. So you and him have got a lot in common. A lot in common. There's lots to get stuck in with here. So we're going to have him on. Yeah. Once we get back from landing at the Great Ascension, so January the 5th, I think, is the air date of our Trump episode. So look forward to that.
I will.
Unless something goes wrong at Christmas when we ascend to see Talaxi or our great leader. I mean, likelihood of that, not likely. So looking forward to welcoming. Yeah. Where you heard it first, Donald Trump will be on the show in January. So that's how they're going to lose us all our fans again. There's a lot more. So looking forward to seeing that come through for us. Depending on how you feel about the situation. It's not real. This world we live in is just a movie. So just embrace it. It didn't hurt Home Alone 2, did it? All right, it's fine. Before we lock the key to the show in the door and make our way out to the fine ukulele twangs of the greatest man that ever lived in Texas, apart from Triple S, I have to look to you and say in a wistful way, Scotty, what
Well, you're going to be very excited for this one, George. So strap yourself in, because
I'm strapped on and ready to listen.
So I was playing a lot of PlayStation Plus games, and I was aware I haven't been on the Xbox for a long time. And I was looking for a new modern game to scratch the old itch. And I basically, what happened was I went onto the Xbox. Everyone was going about COD in the Discord. I thought I'd check it out. I was a bit silly. I paid $10.99 to reactivate my Xbox Game Pass.
Wow.
Then realised I still can't play COD. I've got to have Game Pass Ultimate. Then paid $14.99. So that was a lot of money. That was a silly mistake.
So you paid $24 for this.
Yeah, I feel bad because I took the pocket money from RGT's jar to pay for it, but you know
that was my wages.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, you owe him money. Oh, I do. Someone owes him money. But anyway, I played Call of Duty.
More money.
I played Call of Duty 6. Played about half a game. People were sliding around, shooting me. I was like, guys, give me a second. Chill out. Let's call a truce. Why can't we all be friends and hug and play in my treehouse? So then I tried the campaign mode, and I will try it again because Triple S mentioned the show last week. It's good because he plays single player only. Big up the single player experience. And I basically was like, no, this isn't for me. So I went back to the PlayStation. And I was like, what's my next game? And I was like, well, I've reactivated the Game Pass. What do I want to play? So now, I don't know if it's a stars aligning trying to stop me. You're going to be very excited about this. So I went to play every Yakuza game. That's what I've literally got. That is my next thing I'm playing is Yakuza. I'm playing Yakuza games. And you told me not to worry where you jump in. Try and jump in one of the modern ones. I think I saw Yakuza 0. So I want to jump in with those games.
I've got some bad news, but I think I've seen a press release saying that they're going to come off the Games Pass library.
Well, I'll be quick, okay? I'll be quick. I'll be quick, in and out, a bit like a lady at the night round Longhorns. I will be in and out. So anyway, this is what happened.
No, a lady at Longhorns is in, out, and then buried 6 foot under the patio.
That's true. So when I hung TV in said basement, I had a Nintendo Switch, and then since then, you know, there is a chimney breast down here in the basement. The law thickens, and there's a cavity in there for the HDMI lead. Long story short, I have to pull the HDMI lead out and stick it in the Xbox and in the PS5. Over time, it wears, and the HDMI lead finally broke. Meaning I had to order a new one, try and feed that down the chimney breast and start again. So I haven't been able to play Yakuza, but I might have played it if I had the HDMI working. So I actually fixed the TV last night, new lead. So that will be my next port of call. Yakuza, baby.
0, what a great place to start as well.
Yeah, 0 as well. I feel like you've told me that because I looked at all the Yakuza games and something whispered in my ear softly, 0. And that must have been, it might have been the fruit pastels I had because they were found under the bed. They were quite old. But it might have been a mould. But I'm sure you mentioned to me 0.
Yeah, I think I get a bit confused, but I think Zero came out around the same time as 6. This is a heavy community corrections episode, but if I'm wrong, you tell me.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, once you've made 2 mistakes, you might as well make 30. I've already said that.
You're right. So anyway, Yakuza 0 is set before Yakuza 1 and 2, obviously. Now 1 and 2 got a remake, and 0 sits around that sort of, maybe it came out around the Kiwami time. But 0 is a nice way of starting because it's modern enough where you can get a good understanding of the story while being let in at the good end of Yakuza. If you like that and you get through 0, 1 and 2, Kiwami remake 1 and 2, and then you're into sort of PS3 ports of 3, 4 and 5, they might be a bit of a struggle to you, but definitely 0, 1 and 2 would be a really great place to start and just enjoy the craziness that Yakuza can bring.
I think because there's been a lot of footage of it coming to the Switch, crazy beat 'em up style.
I need to pick that up on the Switch to support it, really.
But I think that was digital only, and I think that's what made me look. I don't think physical yet. I think there might be Play Asia, perhaps, but
it's from what I looked into it, because you can get I think Limited Run are doing a series of these where you can get the Switch version in a nice little collector set, but they're also re-releasing the collector sets of that for PS5 and Series X. And they are going to get the full set with interlocking mini statues to build up a little diorama. So if you're into that, get into it. If not, just get it digital.
Yeah, that was like another language, what you just said.
I know. Halfway through, I had to close my eyes to get the full details, and then I completely forgot where I was.
But I'm sticking with that. I've gone so far. Yeah, maybe I'll finish Until Dawn, and I'll probably play a bit more Undisputed. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. A delivery has come. And this will upset Triple S because it's and yourself, Mario and Luigi, the brothership.
It doesn't upset me.
It does. I saw your eyes roll.
What? Rewind this video if this makes it to video. Did my eyes roll?
That's because you've got one hand where we can't see, so your eyes are rolling to the back of your head, and it might have been in euphoria for all I know. But
you heard me say Fat Zangief. I've climaxed once, so I'm getting old now. That'll be it for 24 hours.
I was going to say. But what do you HOPE to play?
Hope. Yes. Bloody hell.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day without any daylight down here, that's for sure.
Being forced to watch the MAGA acceptance speech on a loop. What am I hoping to play? Listen, I'll straight cut to it. I plan on spending the week end deep on Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. I want to try and get that buttoned off. I've finished it multiple times now, but I want to just see it through on here. I might not dwell on the side quest too much this time round, but I definitely want to see it through to completion.
But when does Farming Simulator 24 drop then?
Any time.
It's not. Oh, we don't know when it's going to come.
I do know. I did know, but I'm not going to Google it because I feel it's cheating. But I do. Okay. It's like, I think it might be November the 24th from memory.
So perhaps a bit more of Farming Simulator 2022. Is Anno on a back burner? Are we going back to any comfort games?
Anno is done. Although I implore everyone to check it out. It's a great game. My RTS at the moment has been a little game called Frostpunk. I talked about it last week.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I like it. It's just not thrown itself at my feet. Horizon Zero Dawn is, so that's kind of where I'm spending my attentions, really. I'll play it on the portal over the next couple of days, and then over the weekend I'll ask a pastor for a special pass to play it on the big boys telly.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll be playing a bit of Pokemon Yellow as well, of course.
And I keep threatening to continue the Pixel remasters, but for some reason, I don't know why this is.
Got Final Fantasy.
I need to finish
I've mentioned
those.
that as well. Yeah,
and then
same.
For some reason, I've had it on the Switch since I got it pretty much. It's Final Fantasy 9. Rat Boy, as me and OG Tom call that series, that version.
Rat Boy?
Yeah, because the main protagonist has got a tail and he looks a little rat-like. So we always refer to Final Fantasy 9 as Rat Boy.
That makes sense.
Yeah, for some reason, I've had this real calling to play through Rat Boy. and I may end up breaking to that wish over the weekend. I don't know. I don't know why it's suddenly right at the forefront of my mind. I know Digital Monkery. I saw a Monkery's video where he picked it up, and RGT bizarrely had picked it up at the same time, and that made me even more sort of paranoid about whether I'd had this sort independently, or whether something's gone on in the ether that's made me go like, yeah, Rat Boy, I need to play that again. So yeah, there may be a report about that, but let's face it, very unlikely. But it's in my brain.
It may be a report, but very unlikely. I like it.
Well, I think that brings us to the end. Pastor's sounds like he's got his G-string in place, especially if we had a deep rummage in his budgie smugglers. It's nice to know that he's got everything lined up down there. So
I was going to say it's your turn to wash him tonight, but I feel like it might be because he's so exhausted, it might be a 2-man job.
Yeah, and he stinks of chlorine, and I don't want to see his horns get sort of water damage. So I think bare minimum, we're going to have to dry and moisturize him.
I'm down.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Well, Pastor, start the intro. That's all we have time for this week. Listeners, always thank you for your time. I look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Scott.
Bye-bye.
George and Seb rolling down the road.
RGT riding shotgun, a
Heavy load.
Pastor Longhorn waiting to unfold. In El Paso, Texas, tales been told.
You can actually hear it, can't you?
One arm big, a sight to see. Pastor preach, set you free. George and Seb, they bend the knee. RGT nodding yes in glee. Join the cult in El Paso town, where Pastor Longhorn's got his crown. One arm high, the other down. We're the wildest show around. Sunday's hot, the desert air. George and Seb both feel the glare. Longhorn's words hang everywhere. Salvation found without a care. Sunday's hot, the desert air. George and Seb both feel the glare. Longhorn's words hang everywhere. Salvation found without a care. RGT plays a sacred tune underneath